Welcome to Trivial Debates.
Let's get ready to rumble!
And
Welcome to
rumble
Trivial
indeed. Hello, hello. How are you all today? It is time for this month's edition of Trivial Debates. It is June 26, 2022. I am your host, Chris Murphy. I've gathered with me today a wonderful panel of interesting and very debate topic heavy folks. We've got the sharp as an axe, down to the atom, Adam Woodward.
Hey guys, good morning.
Adam Sharp.
Adam Sharp. I'm not as
Adam
sharp as I
Sharp.
like to be on Sunday mornings.
Just bringing the lumber today. And do not forget our favorite panelist, Dirty Details, Davan Skelhorn.
Favorite. Okay. Death to the opposition.
He's got a high chance of winning today. So says he in the panels earlier. You may have missed the press conference, but it was quite heated. And bringing it in all the way home, we got truth and facts and justice, Jaemeel Robinson. Boom, boom.
None of those three things will help you in this debate.
So we got the Ultimate Pop Culture Challenge happening today. We have some awesome questions. So the show works like this. We're going to be dropping in movies, television, music, sports, history, and a wild card that, some may not have seen coming. And then after that, we'll see how these debates go. We're going to give them points based on their debates, 1 point each. And in those final rounds, we are going to be bringing in some wild card questions. So what we want people to be passionate about and not personally mean to one another. So as much as possible, be passionate, but don't burn anybody too hard. If it gets too heated, I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna break it apart like a good rap should. Okay, so we'll be fine on that front. I also, guys, want you to keep in mind you can also skip to a new debate by looking at the time indexes in the description and going to those battles that interest you the most. So feel free to raise a hand, and we can potentially pick a topic that you may feel stronger about. So with that in mind, I'm not going to keep this going for too long. I think it's time for us to rumble. So what do you say?
Yeah, here we go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Beautiful, beautiful. Alrighty. So I guess we'll start off with movies. Does that sound like a good choice? Yeah.
It's up to you, man. I think. Or do these actually go in a particular order, I believe?
Yes. Traditionally, we always start with movies.
As is, of course.
Okay, beautiful. All right. I'm trying to pull up my questions.
I could read the question out for you.
They're right there on the screen.
Read the question.
Of course. What toy, fictional or real, should get its own original story film? Include who stars in the leading role and or who is directing. So to begin, we'll start with the woodwork. Let's bring in Adam Woodward.
All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am starting with as a childhood a toy of mine, which I spent hours and hours with. I'm going with Hot Wheels as the toy, starring Simon Baker and Clive Owen as the protagonists, and Ed Norton as the antagonist in this film. Directed by Guillermo del Toro, set in post-apocalyptic America, where survivors are, proving their worth through a course set by Ed Norton's character to survive death and destruction, and prove their driving skills through an amazing Hot Wheels type course with danger involved. Using the themes of Road Warrior and other films like this, I see this as an amazing a movie opportunity that would probably sell out in a lot of theaters, as you get wind in personal stories, especially with Simon Baker, Clive Owen as protagonists, but only one can survive. Thank you.
Ooh, and that was the buzzer. Excellent choice. Hot Wheels. It's a strong racetrack to lead with. I like the choice of Clive Owen and Guillermo del Toro. So we're going to move on to our next contestant. Davan, what is your toy, fictional or real, that you would choose for a story film?
Okay, imagine this now. Alien attack movie. Or can even be a sequel to The War of the Worlds. Entitled Super Soaker. Right? Because the aliens in A War of the Worlds are destroyed by water. So imagine this. You have one single adult who's a super soaker collector and has been since the beginning. So an older fella played by Christopher Lloyd, and a cast of younger actors, children, if you will, saving the world with their super soakers. Well, more specifically, Christopher Lloyd's Super Soaker collection. Excitement. A coming of age story, of course, with the children in the learning that they can be an eccentric collector just like Christopher Lloyd, and if they are, they may one day save the world. What else do you want in a movie? You could get to highlight all the different kinds of super soakers over the ages. I just want to see this movie. I don't know about you.
All right, Super Soaker movie it is. Let's get wet this summer. And we're going to move on to the next panelist, Jaemeel Robinson. What is your fictional toy of choice for an original story-like film?
Everyone knew it was coming when this was coming out. Coming of age story about a young boy growing up in Seattle, Washington, as he's trying to figure out his way in the world, with the backdrop of popular culture and the soundtrack inspired by Pump Up the Volume. It is starring, sorry, I got to put the name, Brady Noon from Good Boys, and also directed by the king of coming of age of Richard Linklater. I think this would be an amazing film. Freddie, Linklater. Freddie Funko is trying to find his way in the world against the backdrop of pulp culture. He is a fan of everything, but is in this world where everyone hates what they don't like, yet he loves everything.
All right, excellent words. I'm not too familiar with Brandon Noon, but you're gonna have to give it a rousing debate as to why.
Do a Google search, it's fine.
All right. I'll do some fact checking, but let's see. Who's wants to fire first?
Oh, I'll fire first.
Right,
I didn't mention my
it is.
director. By the way, my Mayhem coming of age story action adventure will be directed by James Gunn.
James Gunn. Ooh, okay.
Who does insane adventure action better than him right now?
Okay.
So, Hot Wheels. Look, you missed the obvious movie. It should have been a heist movie about people stealing wheels. Hot Wheels. You missed the mark on that one, Adam. Disqualified. Jaemeel, Funkos are a plague upon this earth. Nobody needs more Funkos in their life.
What exactly?
They all look
is
the same. It'll be confusing.
That's
what's the movie about? Like
your statement is incorrect
Super Soaker,
to begin
action.
with. Your statement is to begin with is incorrect. Funko is the name of a company, all right, not the name of a specific product. Are you referring to this as a Funko?
I meant Pops. Yeah, I meant Pops.
So already your argument is
All right,
proven
fine.
to
You got me
be
on that one. But
incorrect.
that doesn't make your
Adam,
movie good.
It doesn't. But you didn't prove that yours is better. Although the James
what?
Gunn selection is a really good idea. Kudos to that.
Crazy. Tell me you don't want to see Christopher Lloyd and a bunch of kids in a James Gunn movie with super soakers.
Yeah, but here's the
me in
thing
the
with
eye and
that.
tell me that.
As far as an alien movie where you can kill them with water, this is Earth. We have lots of water. I can go in my tap.
But it's Christopher Lloyd, an eccentric collector. Nobody believes him. He's like, and destroy the aliens with water, and people are like, whatever. Here, Christopher Lloyd.
The ending of, so you're basically making a movie of the ending of Signs. No, thank you.
No, I don't think so.
It is.
Actually, that's a great point. It is.
Where were the super soakers in Signs?
That is a
water,
good point.
Water. Yeah, super. It doesn't matter.
Signs is actually M. Night Shyamalan's best movie, so.
Oh gosh. That. Okay, Adam, please tell me more about your movie, please.
Yeah, we're gonna. That seems like a pretty damning evidence for.
Remember, I'm not debating that M. Night Shyamalan movies are great. I'm debating that Christopher Lloyd with Super Soakers is
fair enough, but I can't get the bad taste out of my mouth. Regardless, Adam, can you please continue?
Yeah. Listen, I think that I mean, listen, the heist theme is good. I'd like the more of a driving through a course and surviving, fighting other cars off. Like, I just picture driving down these orange, tracks, going upside down, flying through the air, getting a land, or you're shooting people along the way, towards that finish line where you win, you win life, or you win whatever it might be. But it doesn't matter. You have a real goal. It could definitely fill 2 hours on screne, unlike the Super Soaker where you just.
How did the actors contribute to the enjoyment of the film?
Well, I think you got some strong, like Clive Owen to me is a dark.
Hey. No, keep going.
Oh yeah,
I think that was something else. Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's an actor that broods, lots of feeling to him, and he could definitely add something to that movie. Well, Simon Baker's got that witticism and the funny lines that he could generate as well with a strong. Apocalyptic director that we have in Del Toro. So
tell us more about Fury Road, Adam.
Well, okay. I'll talk a little bit about my movie. The current Zeitgeist that we see right now in terms of film is a lot of things.
Ferris Funko's Day Off. We get
it. Well, not really, but coming of age story. Ferris Bueller. I'm not a big fan. Anyways,
16 Funkos.
16 Funkos. I'll keep that in mind. Right now, a lot of movies that really divulge in the meta of current pop culture. So as Freddie Funko is trying to figure out exactly how can he love everything when everyone hates everything, he's going to be bumping into a ton of pop culture icons from. He's falling asleep. I love it. Right? So just imagine like Rescue Rangers, but better, right? With an actual story and actual like real pop culture icons that aren't.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, what kind of art direction were you thinking for Rescue Ranger, or not Rescue Rangers, but this Funko movie?
It would have to be like the director in question isn't really one to do super fantastical things, right? So it has to be grounded in reality, but at the same time, you have these. It's kind of like Adventures in Babysitting when you meet Thor, right? It's like, is he really Thor? But he is kind of Thor, but it doesn't really matter if he is or is not. It's what it represents to the actual character himself. So Sarah, the character, meeting Thor was such an important moment for her, right? And he was able to help with the story, but at the same time kind of represents that we're getting that pulp culture character in the movie. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing these people. So it's not like Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker. It's Mark Hamill. And there's like the twinkle in his eye. Like, is he really Luke Skywalker or is he not? And that kind of whimsical play that you've seen Richard do in like School of Rock.
I'm bored, Jaemeel.
Me too,
I'm
come on, kids.
You're digging deep. You're digging deep. So okay, I'm gonna wrap this up here. I want to wrap this up. So I'm gonna give you guys a hot second to think about this, but it could also help determine and waver your argument as to what toy should get its own original story film. Not which one will be the most entertaining. Which one I want to see this could be the most convincing thing. So, tell me the title of your film, Adam.
Hot Hell on Wheels.
Hot Hell on Wheels.
Derivative.
All right, Dev. Davin, what is yours?
Well, I don't have to change anything because my toy has one of the coolest names anyway. It's just called Super Soaker. There's never been a title quite like that, and it's exciting in the superhero age kind of thing. It has the word super in there, but it's like Soaker. It's like what? Super Soaker. Unless it's a sequel to a War of the Worlds, in which case it's a War of the Worlds Super Soaker.
Okay. It could just be called Super Soaker in the.
I don't want to get too clever with the title because then you end up with something like Hot Hell on Wheels.
All right, Jaemeel, what do you got for us?
Davin's on the right path. Keep it simple with the actual like product in the name, and don't kind of mess it up like Hot Hell on Wheels. Hell, not a good idea. Does not have a global reach. Mine would just be simple Freddy Funko.
Freddy Funko. Okay, well, these are solid arguments, gentlemen. These are solid arguments. I gotta say, Davin was on a hot streak. He's got a good director, good cast. I like the idea of Chris Lloyd and the kids and all this. But Jaemeel and Adam speared him hard with "There's water everywhere." I could point a hose at these guys, like,
That's the
don't get me wrong. That's that, so your argument was going good, but then it kind of it fell to the wayside there, and then you didn't really have anything to fight back against that. You could have been like, plumbing's been shut down. The only way we can get them is with super soakers. Boom, that would have been a retort there. So, Davin, I think I have to call you out on this round for that one. So the point is going to either go towards Jaemeel and Adam. Now, Adam had the more exciting film by far. It sounded like a mix between
Fury Road.
Mad Max and Death Race and Fury Road. And I can't disagree that Hot Hell on Wheels doesn't sound like it would be a great movie. So I'm probably going to have to give the point to Adam, but Jaemeel was making some good... What was he? Honestly,
Jaemeel was making us tired.
I can't remember anything you were telling me about Freddy Funko because I was just like, Freddy Funko, where's this going to go? And it seems like a lot of emotional drama for a bobblehead. So
Richard Linklater.
Richard Linklater is going to direct this. It's going to be epic.
I'm going to be in trouble today. Super Soaker was my ace in the hole. Oh well.
I mean, it's a great title. I'm gonna have to give the point to Adam for Hot Hell on Wheels.
I never thought that would happen. Okay.
It sounded like a good movie. It sounded like an actual good movie. I just don't like that title at all.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Jaemeel.
I completely woofed the setup for that because I was all going to be like, oh, it's topical. The Lightyear movie is out. Oh, and I'm just like, where's my questions? Anyway, this time I'm more prepared. So we're going to be moving on to the TV topic. Adam got the point for that one, which is fantastic. We're going to be moving on to TV topic. Now, recently, Top Gun came out as an excellent sequel. It was an excellent revival to a very classic 80s film franchise, which got me thinking, in this modern day and age of film that's being produced and such, what is a hit 80s or 90s film that would make for a great 6 to 10 episode, either as a modern remake or a sequel to the original film TV series today? We started with Adam last round, so this time we're going to start with Davin.
All right. I'm going to stretch the definition of the word hit, but this is why it should be remade, because it can be... Well, I loved it, actually. It's a really good movie, but, it'll be a bigger hit this time. So, think of Stranger Things, yet way better, right?
Okay.
So, I don't know if you're all familiar with a great 80s movie starring Howie Mandel and Fred Savage called Little Monsters. But that was a fantastic idea for a movie, and it has a lot of classic lines like, who pissed in my apple juice? It's a good movie. Look, it's about an underworld of monsters that you can reach by underneath children's beds is like the entrance to the world, hence the monster under the bed thing. So it's playing off an age-old trope. It's funny because it is Howie Mandel. But my new one, of course, is not starring Howie Mandel. Anyway, it's about hijinks, and hijinks ensues, like piss and apple juice and cat litter and sandwiches. But it's going to be starring Donald Glover.
Ooh, Donald
And,
Glover. All right, so we got in Donald
with cameos by Mandel and
we're gonna-
Savage, because Fred
Okay, you're reaching. Time's up. You're reaching. Time's up. You have to bring it in on the debate. So we got Donald Glover. You're gonna have to bring in those names again because I spoke over you. I'm afraid. Little Monsters with Davin.
What was your answer, Davin?
Little
Davin's
Monsters.
answer was Little Monsters.
Little Monsters.
Classic 80s film starring Howie Mandel. I remember this.
Someone put
It's a great
piss in my
movie.
apple juice.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's a great movie. So we got Little Monsters from Davin. Jaemeel, you're up next.
Will
What is
Daddy
your
Glover's
80s?
sweaty wife beater also be in it? I just want to know.
But I said Donald Glover.
Oh, Donald Glover. Disappointment. Anyway,
He has a sweaty wife beater too.
I mean, Danny Glover could be like his grandfather in the film or something.
maybe. Okay, my selection also kind of ties into a selection coming later on, or a question coming on later on. And my movie is cult classic They Live. Right? So 6 to 10 episode series about a normal everyday man who is living in the world and suddenly realizes that all is not what he's seeing. We live in a world where technology and media consumption cannot be avoided, and then all of a sudden he puts on his glasses and is now shown the underlying truth of the world, and slowly he just tries to fight against this overwhelming force that seems impossible to overcome. Yet he finds a partner after a brutal fight, and those two.
Oh, time's up. It was going good. I liked where it was going. I'm interested to hear more about that one. They Live. Adam, it's your time to shine. What do you got for us?
I picked the movie Heathers, and this was released in my second grade 12 year of high school. And, at the time it was pretty groundbreaking. It was very dark. It didn't do well in the theaters at the time. If you don't know it, guys, it portrays about, 4 female teenagers with Winona Ryder leading. 3 of them are named Heather, and they're in this clique at high school. And one of the lives is disrupted by the, what's his name? His Christian Slater character, where he plays Jack Nicholson, really, or in the theme of Jack Nicholson, but he's intent on murdering popular students in classes, and really focuses on that clique, and how that school either rallies or does not rally. And I think it was really ahead of its time for what's happening today in the world. And I think that by revisiting this and we bring it back up, it would be a very black comedy, but very pertinent to what's going on in today's world. Particularly in U.S. high schools and the whole destruction of America right now. So
Beautiful. Heathers from 1989. Tense teenage horror flick. That could be some good television. Let's see who's going to take the first shot. Jaemeel wants to take the first shot. Let's go.
Adam, what is your? I got 2 questions. What are your opinions about the Heathers show that was released and also canceled just recently on Europe and Paramount? Hold on, I'm giving you both questions. So you have a longer time to respond.
Oh,
right?
you bugger! I didn't even know this happened.
Oh, I did. And
you're done, Adam. You're done.
And 2, what do you feel your movie is going to do that?
You mean my TV show?
Your TV show, sorry. That Scream Queens, Mean Girls, both sequels of Mean Girls as well as Glee has not already done in terms of the Mean Girls for women, horror movie trope that's been occurring in pop culture for the last 15 years.
May I add to your point there quickly, Jaemeel? And also, going after elites, which is the story of or basically the premise of your story, I don't know that does resonate as much in the world today because, it's not going to garner sympathy so much because people kind of want to go after the billionaires right now, rightfully. So going after elites isn't
what
I mean,
groundbreaking?
horrible murder's bad, of course, but like the underlying premise, I don't know if that works.
Yeah. Okay. A couple things then, Jaemeel. First of all, thanks for pointing that out because I just Googled that myself and I go, shit. So there you go. Am I out, Mr. Judge?
Defend your point, man. Don't give up, Adam.
But I will say this is that, when you're talking about Mean Girls and, trying to do a Mean Girls sequel, 2-hour movies, you can't really get into character development. These are really just quick things. While a sequel, you can really hit it onto other things. Now, Davan, your point on the elite or Jaemeel, whoever made that point about attacking the elite. Well, yes, it's even more prevalent today as cultures divide and classes divide, where we have no middle class now. I think that there is a definite hatred evolving even further right now, and then you layer in the American inability to deal with their gun shootings and mass shootings in high schools and clubs and blah blah blah, and in churches, for crying out loud, and they just cannot wrap their heads around this. So I mean, a very well written, direct, critique of the American culture right now can really be layered into this, and I think it would be fantastic if it was done well.
Okay. What style show would you compare it to?
Well, now I have to go watch this if I can find it. But long and short, I just think it's satirical, very satirical, black, comedy, but very underlying, direct shots at the negative parts of American culture right now.
Okay.
Which is everything.
Okay.
All right. Good points. Dad, what do you
Little
think?
Monsters. Let me tell you. So, Stranger Things basically took the what do they call it? The upside down or whatever idea from Little Monsters. So, and it was, for me, Stranger Things is I had to stop watching it basically. I found like it just ran too long. It was interesting when that underneath thing was the kind of focus and a bit of a mystery. But where I think Stranger Things fails, and this could be a period piece as well, like back in the 80s, like the original Little Monsters, just for a bit of added fun and whimsy, because there's no whimsy left in the world. But where Stranger Things falls apart is the humor doesn't land. I find what humor there is, and I think what you insert Donald Glover into there in some better writing. Donald Glover could even direct it. He's freaking multi-talented. So you add him into there, a thing like that, and it's just fantastic, man. Like as the Howie Mandel role, as the monster that's reaching out to this kid. Yeah.
So Donald Glover's playing the monster?
Yeah, he's playing the monster, Howie Mandel's role.
Who would you cast in the kid portrayal?
I was thinking about that. I just don't really know a lot of kid actors, and the ones I do know aren't really kids anymore. Oh, but
Brady Noon.
Or did I want to change that one for later?
Brady Noon.
No. So it's I did have an idea for this actually. So the star would be, again, all the kid actors I know are a little old. Iman Vellani. I think she's been amazing so far.
You know what?
Wow.
That could be
mad charming. So Donald Glover and Iman Vellani.
What network would this be on?
Kind of.
So,
I mean, I don't want to make it like adult rated for like on HBO or something like that, or something kids can watch.
Disney.
Disney Plus, yeah.
Go to Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever.
Okay, we're running short on time. So Jaemeel, let's hear a good argument for
I think
They Live.
Okay, I think that my movie resonates with what's going on today with the rise of social media. Sorry?
TV show?
Yeah, sorry, I keep on saying movie. Well, nowadays, prestige TV. Let's say prestige TV, because it's 6 to 10 episodes. The rise and how social media has infiltrated all of our lives in almost every single aspect of it. Now to have that revealed to be something even more nefarious than what people already think it does, it really puts a lot of people's actions and motivations into question. So you can go into ideas about politics.
I think I got to poke a hole in that.
Go ahead.
I got to poke a hole in that. That's such an old played out idea now. That's like every episode of friggin' Black Mirror. Like everybody is suspicious of technology and media now, overly so, to the point where it's like you just want to bang your head off the wall because people take it too far. I think They Live was perfect in the 80s, but now that idea that's old.
I don't think so. I think that you have an underlying bad feeling about social media, but I don't think people realize how much we interact with it from our Alexa.
I think they do.
To
people want to put further.
Our phones, how we have our phones with us at every single moment that we live, even beside our bedside. So it's not even just advertisements when you're driving or the news that you're watching, right? This is being directly, not even to our bedrooms, to our bathrooms, everywhere we live, right? So you have this underlying mystery that is going on, is how big is this thing? And episode by episode, the layer just keeps being revealed that it's a bigger. Who is behind it? Right? Is it aliens?
You're basically vaguely describing several Black Mirror episodes that probably pulled it off better than your idea, I think.
You're automatically assuming that I'm going to do a horrible job. I'm very taken
No, I just mean Black Mirror actually does quite a good job. So I'm
Black Mirror does a good job. But when's the last time Black Mirror has released an episode? It's been a while.
Oh, I don't know, but that's
so. I just want a bit of clarification. Are these? It sounds like all of your choices are remakes. Are any of these like direct sequels?
No, mine's
movies,
the
or
original.
is everybody? Yours? Oh, so you're doing you're doing a direct.
Stranger Things stole my idea. Oh, I see what you mean. Is it like a Little Monsters 2?
It's a
basically.
No. Well, no, because if it's a period piece, then it's a remake. So I would go remake with mine.
Yeah, mine's a remake as well.
Mine's a reimagining because it's current, so it's not going to be. It's not a remake of the. It's not set in the 80s. It's set now. So.
Okay. All right.
Well, you know what? I could probably go with that sort of thing with mine.
That's what
I feel like you could do a remake, but like the Howie Mandel could still play the same guy. No, he couldn't because it's in the 80s. No, never mind. Remake with mine. Confused myself there,
dude. He look exactly the same. He just needs to put the horns on. It's fine.
He does. That's true. He's got the secret serum.
All right, I'm thinking I'm leading on a choice here. I'm gonna give 1 more minute for final thoughts on everybody.
All right,
Adam.
I think the strength of mine is that it's a very pertinent conversation. I think the children are really struggling today. Layer in another thing is COVID in that environment. What we've gone through in the schools the last few years. Watching my own kids, grow up in high school through this past few years has been very difficult for them. But also, it's just, I think that we have a responsibility as artists out there, somebody does, to call out what the negative is out there and really see if we can affect change somehow, because nothing else seems to be working.
Okay, beautifully put. Davin, final thoughts?
My final thoughts is just like I think in the last round, mine is the movie that you actually want to see. Or show, I should say. It's short to the point with the 6 or 10 episodes, and that's perfect for this idea. Who doesn't want to see Donald Glover and Iman Vellani pranking a bunch of assholes in the night? It's amazing. I want to watch it right now. It doesn't even need to be written. You could just have them do it. It could be done as reality. But no, it would be Donald Glover behind it. It would just be fantastic. And Iman Vellani is just effortlessly charming. So.
I don't remember the question saying who's starring though. Just to point that out.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a specification. If you want to drop some names,
we're past that. It's fine.
Helps describe the feel.
It does. I think for mine, with the way that prestige television is nowadays, I think a lot of powerful stories can be told, and it's not necessarily just going to follow nada. So I like the idea of Atlanta and how it presents its story, where you build up this world, but also follow different characters. I said Donald Glover. Follow the characters within it. I imagine an episode where you have a Proud Boy who has been educated through social media and ideas and concepts, suddenly have the glasses fall into his lap and really understand how he's being manipulated by these things. A very powerful episode where you can, tell a lot of concepts that you wouldn't normally do through a traditional narrative. I think They Live can be a good, mirror picture frame to view these stories.
All right. Amazing arguments all around, gentlemen.
I would actually want to watch everything that was mentioned.
I really do. I too would watch everything that was mentioned. Adam with the very poignant and politically apt Heathers and making that into a remake.
People didn't watch it.
Yeah,
because they haven't seen Adam's version yet. They haven't seen Adam's version yet. That's why.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's
Jameel.
true. It's
breaking
true.
my heart, making me feel better.
Someone took a shot.
It's one of those. It's one of those shows where somebody could, the revive the old classic film just through the property of the hit show. However, that being said, there was that small technicality. So unfortunately, Adam Heather not being a hit film is going to disqualify you from this round. And that means it's going to be between Davan and Jaemeel. And, oh, boys, this is a tough choice for me. I'm definitely trying to put the biases aside. I'm a big They Live fan, and I have conjured sequels to that many, many times in my head. So you're hitting notes familiar with me, Jaemeel. But I got to say Davan's depiction of a Little Monsters show starring Donald Glover and Amani Vomani, I'm all for that. That's going to take the point from me. So, Davan, you get the point for this round.
Hey, Davan.
Yeah.
You know what that also could have been? It could have been The Gate. You could have done the same thing with The Gate. Remember that movie? No?
I don't think
it's like an old 80s horror movie. Like it's like House, right? It's like a really bad old horror. Yeah, I know The Gate.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, but it was a fun movie as well.
Yeah, The Gate's sort of like that. Yeah, not as good.
Yeah. So,
notoriously
excellent choices, gentlemen. That was a lot of fun. So we're going to move on to the next round. We've got music for this category. Now, it's been known that film composer John Williams is going to be calling it quits after Indiana Jones 5. So, which music composer in either film, television, or music in general has had an equal or bigger impact on the zeitgeist for the collective population? Give us your answers. We're going to start this round. Jaemeel, please.
Go ahead and pick up your pen. You know what? I had a lot of trouble with this, and there are a lot of great composers out there, but I was too heavily focusing on film. So then I kind of broadened my thought process, and it became very simple. I hear voices, in my head, and they talk to me. And I understand they talk to me. I'm going with John Johnston, the creative mastermind of many of the most popular sports entertainment theme songs, right? He's the one where you hear his music, you yell out, "You suck." Or you hear those chimes and you know that the Undertaker is coming. Or you hear that glass shattering and you know Stone Cold's going to raise some hell. Right? He has worked for over 25 years in the WWII and has made some of the music that has traveled over into pulp culture. And today, you can hear it in sports arenas worldwide. You hear the beginning of those theme songs and you know exactly the tone and message.
Ooh, bringing in the smackdown with Jim Johnson. Well played, Mr. Jaemeel. An excellent choice.
Whoa, what did you say, Murphy?
He's bringing in the
Jaemeel doesn't even know the
Jim
name of this unmemorable composer.
He did call him John Johnston.
He called him John Johnston, disqualified, not memorable.
A name a rose by any other name still smells sweet.
This is a valid point, but it's outside the contending round, so I'm gonna dismiss that. We're gonna continue on with opening arguments. Adam, what is your choice for a memorable composer?
I before I tell you who, I just want to read you a quote. I listen to music, X musics, and I don't even have to shut my eyes. I can see the pictures, and that's why in many respects I can talk pictures with this person. He responds to pictures. So, when I look at movies, and especially the big ones, is it's how you feel, and sometimes the movie will just never be as good without that music, and the music is so choiceful. So I picked Hans Zimmer as mine, and he just wasn't, by the way, in movies. He started in TV, and that's how he made his career. Sort of started his career while he got going. But just to give you a couple movies over the years, I mean, and he won Academy Awards for Lion King, Dune last year, Gladiator, Thin Red Line, like just the ones that I just Inception, Dark Knight. Think about Pearl Harbor, that horrible movie, but the music was just fantastic through it. And when you look at how he takes the movie and brings it beyond just the pictures on screen and into your mind, and I can listen to it all day long.
Wonderfully put, Adam. Wonderfully put. Hans Zimmer, a solid choice, a man with a thorough career. We've got Davan and those wee baby guests along with him.
My rebuttal, look at this face. Look at this face.
It's adorable.
Check.
Your rebuttal.
Wonderful conclusion. Rounds over. Let's move on now. Davan, your music composer or brought to you.
Oh, Henny. Okay, so Ludwig van Beethoven. Not only is he the most well-known composer in history, he has permeated pop culture through A Clockwork Orange, through Looney Tunes, through countless movies and TV, through Baby Einstein videos. Like, she has heard Ludwig van Beethoven and loves it. So it's transcended Earthworm Jim. Even it's even in video games. It has transcended every medium. It's timeless, has proven to be, and will go on being timeless. Ludwig van is the only answer. Right, baby?
Ludwig van Beethoven from Davan, a solid choice. Classically composed throughout the years.
I think that might be a good answer. However, that to me is an interpretation set to whatever medium you're putting it into. While my choice is being here's the picture, then it's written for that. How is that going to best speak to the viewers, or speak, or whatever you know what I mean? But so taking Beethoven is good. Like, it's a good choice and definitely well used. However, you're taking the picture and putting it to the music rather than the other way around.
And I think that's a point for me, actually. I think that just shows.
No, I don't think so at all.
But
you're shoehorning it in some places, and that's
like you can be some dude named John or whatever and write a song specifically for a wrestler and have it be like okay to listen to, or you can be Ludwig van Beethoven and write transcendent music that will be timeless forever and in every type of medium because it fits everything. You could put Moonlight Sonata in any medium possible, and people have, including Earthworm Jim. It's and that's just one of his songs. Like, but you can have Bugs Bunny sing it, Kildo at it.
But why not Amadeus? I mean, you can do the same with him. I mean, any composer where there was just like they had no knowledge of where this was going, the world was going, obviously. And I think that
I don't think that's the question.
I don't think that's the question. I think the most important thing that we need to focus on is the zeitgeist.
The zeitgeist,
right?
Which
currently, so
Beethoven,
can you give examples? Can you give current modern examples of Beethoven in the zeitgeist?
My answer is no, but that's my fault because I don't consume much modern media. If it's not in Star Trek, I haven't seen it. But that's why I use examples from when I was involved in more pop culture.
Okay, so that isn't in the current zeitgeist. It wasn't a zeitgeist.
My argument is that Beethoven has managed to enter into every zeitgeist that I know of, but I guess I'm not too familiar with modern zeitgeist. But I'm sure I would bet dollars to donuts, as they say, that Beethoven was put in a movie or TV show this year. Probably like 100 of them.
Okay.
because
Okay.
you don't have to pay for it for one. But
But-
there's a lot of music you don't have to pay for.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of music that are in commercials that people just kind of skip over. Like it's that tune. Ba-na-na-na. Like
Look,
how many times Bad Guy has been in a commercial? A lot. And it just becomes like people don't even realize it's Bad Guy, right? Until like they compare the two. It's just there. So being in the zeitgeist means it's come up. It's like, oh yeah, like you immediately like connect with it. So I kind of disagree with it. I think it's a great choice, but I don't think it works in terms of the form of the question. Now, in terms of Hans Zimmer has a complicated history. He is an excellent composer, but unfortunately, there's always the criticism of like, does he do his compositions or is he like a studio house and he gets younger composers to
but I
interpret
mean,
his
TRL
music?
Stein.
if you base John Williams as the question here, and that's how we started. I mean, like let's face it, he's following that whole that and yes, there's a composing house. I get that, but I mean, it's still the name Hans Zimmer, regardless of or John Williams or whoever it might be.
I think Jaemeel gutted you there, Adam.
No,
think
I
you
don't
got-
believe that.
And John Johnston or whoever he is, look, the most memorable.
His
wrestling
actual
song
real name
ever
is James
not even
Allen
written by him.
Johnson?
It's written by Rick Derringer. So
You could put James/John/Jim. His actual name is James, but like where are we going with that?
Okay, I'm gonna step in.
Hold on, before you step in
Johnson,
here,
there you
but
go.
John, like I couldn't even tell you who this guy is, Jameel's guy.
You've heard his music though,
but I
When
don't know.
Only if you're a wrestling fan. He doesn't
Not even if
understand
you're a wrestling
Zeitgeist.
fan.
Beethoven, I get. I
think so.
understand Beethoven.
only
I
if you're
understand
a
my
wrestling
guy.
Yeah.
No clue.
You
talk about Zeitgeist. I mean, but you still have to connect.
Get out of your wrestling bubble, Jaemeel. Get
Here's
out of
the
your
thing.
bubble.
Yeah, and how do we get a wrestling question later? By the way,
I know it's not a sport. I'll tell
Sport
you
of
that.
Kings. Anyways, if a wrestler shows up and walks into a place, he's just some dude with muscles. But when the theme song hits, right?
Yeah,
When the
but
theme
Jaemeel,
song
that's
hits-
for anything. I mean, any movie is a movie until you throw music
Tell
behind
him.
it. Anyhow.
All right, I'm gonna
if I see
step in.
Captain America, if I see
But look at his
Captain America-
face. Look at his face.
I'm going to step in. So the question again, it was an equal or bigger impact on Zeitgeist compared to John Williams. Adam, you've got an excellent choice with Hans Zimmer. He has made many impactful films and scored them. Although, okay, I'm gonna think about this for a second, just real briefly. Everybody had something to say. I felt. Jaemeel had stronger points against Hans Zimmer and Ludwig van Beethoven, only in the sense that I can't honestly think of, like, when I think of some films with Hans Zimmer, I'll think of maybe one or two songs at best. Ludwig van Beethoven is that classic. He's throughout time and history, for sure. He is that staple, so that is a strong impact on the zeitgeist. But Jaemeel,
I think Adam and Jaemeel got at each other.
Yeah, I mean, they did make good points.
Adam doesn't know him.
Jim Johnson is a very strong composer in the sense that it took me a second to look him up and then realize, oh, that guy that's made all of these songs that are easily memorable and recognizable throughout the years. But I truly can't say I remembered his name. Such a hard choice. Okay. I'm going to say, based on arguments alone, I'm going to give this to Jaemeel. He came in with stronger points about Jim Johnson. He came in with stronger points about Jim Johnson and the music and impact. And I just felt like I didn't hear enough defense really about Zimmerman or Ludwig van Beethoven.
Adam, all you have to do is talk about the bongs. Like whenever like bongs are now like anytime you hear a bong in a movie trailer, that's due to Hans Zimmer, right? Just putting it in Inception, Dark Knight is just Interstellar. That's. I was like, Adam, I was kind of cheering for you.
It's okay.
If he had made that point, that probably would have leaned it towards
would have
him.
won that one. I didn't think I was going to win that one after.
All tied
Hans
up.
Zimmer, great
Okay.
choice. Danny
Moving
Elfman as
on.
well. Yeah.
Danielle. You know, Danielle.
All
See, I
right.
think, never mind. We'll talk
We'll
about
talk
it later.
We'll discuss this in the afterpoints. All right, so now it's moving on to the topic of sports. Now, sports, in my opinion, requires physical activity, some form of winning and or losing. I believe that this falls within the category. People are being physical, they're exerting, they're strenuating themselves in various forms, from working out to basically doing a live gymnastics, and that sport is going to be wrestling. So
You're
that question leads to I wasn't sure who this one was going to rub good or rub bad, but we're bringing it forth. So for
Wrestling
sports,
is not a
who do you
sport.
consider? I've already just made my argument as to why it is. Who do you consider the most outstanding professional wrestler that's made you feel something? Love, hate, or excitement? When you watch this professional wrestler, what's the one that stands out to you? What is the most outstanding professional wrestler when watching them? We're gonna come back to Adam with the beginning here.
I'm starting.
Yep.
I wonder who they've decided is going to win the gold medal at the Olympics this year.
Yes. All right. My choice was simply, and honestly, I haven't watched any wrestling since I was probably 15 years old. So it's a long time ago. So I go back in time to the early 80s when my grandfather used to take me to Maple Leaf Wrestling in Toronto. And just to consider where the world was, this is early 80s, and it was the Iron Sheik. And you look at the question here, right? Love, hate, and excitement. At the time, I didn't know I was drinking the Kool-Aid, but man, I mean, you look at what was going on in the world, American-Soviet relations really hyping up negative, and the way that WWF at the time brought in these anti-American heroes that spoke badly about the U.S. and brought Hulk Hogan, the all-American hero, to the forefront. And man, they did it so well, and they bought all these kids like me at 10 years old or 12 years old to buy into this hatred of either Soviet with Nikolai, what's his name, and the Iron Sheik.
Volkov.
Yeah, right, but masterful skill at manipulation and propaganda.
The big bad Iron,
which is what it more is than a sport. It's propaganda.
Yeah, it really is.
And
it really was. I don't know what
it's true. It's true. The Iron Sheik is an
got
excellent choice from Adam. We're gonna move to the corner of Davan Skelhorn. Who's his ringer?
Oh well. Is that a snake? If you're scared of snakes, then you probably felt fear at the sight of Jake the Snake Roberts. No, but look, honestly, as a kid, I drank the Kool-Aid too. But at some point, you stop drinking Kool-Aid. Well, unless you're a heavy drinker, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway,
I would say you appreciate the Kool-Aid for how it's made.
Sugary, and sweet, cloying even. So, look, Jake the Snake Roberts. I was thinking as a kid, look, the first thing you feel is excitement, like Adam says. But look, with all the Kool-Aid, for example, like the music and the characters and the outfits and stuff, they all kind of give you that. It's just the fact that, once the crowd starts cheering, you feel the excitement. But so I'm thinking, what is the first thing I felt that just wasn't that from a wrestler? And that's Jake the Snake Roberts. Like, I love snakes now, but as a kid, you're a little bit afraid of giant, terrifying snakes that are biting people and cobras and stuff. Fear. Jake the Snake Roberts. I'm out of time, but there's more. We'll get to that.
Fear. So we got fear from Jake the Snake Roberts in the corner of Davan Skelhorn. In the corner of Jaemeel. Who's his wrestler of choice?
Like, before I even start, I say kudos to you two because I really thought this was going to go in a specific direction. And I applaud both of you for picking choices that I didn't really think that you were going to choose. My choice, I feel, is a little bit more mainstream, as I mentioned, but still deserving. And that is the cream of the crop, Macho Man Randy Savage. This is a man who was able to perform on many aspects of what professional wrestling entails. The gimmick outside of the ring, the gimmick in interviews, and also the gimmick in the ring. He was a class above all others in all three aspects. In terms of being in interviews, the man had brilliant mind-bending interviews where he got his point across, but not only in a way that could be sometimes humorous, but also intense, where you were like hyped up and excited, but also at times frustrated at how insane this man was when he was a good guy or a bad guy, right? In the ring, you saw him perform against Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, where he told a story in the ring, and you were cheering. You're at the edge of the seat, hoping that he would succeed.
Oof.
Oh, can I go first, please?
With Macho Man Randy Savage.
I
Take it in.
Go ahead, Davan.
Keep the heat rolling. Go ahead, Davan.
I don't want to dominate
during
this
that
conversation.
wonderfully poetic answer, Jaemeel never once mentioned how Macho Man made him feel.
I did
He
actually.
didn't even answer the question.
He did.
I did actually.
He did.
What? Well, my second point with Macho Man is he's been made popular and famous from memes. It's after his heyday. I was a wrestling fan. Nobody ever said in the 80s or 90s, my favorite wrestler is Macho Man Randy Savage. No one said that in those days. No one. Jaemeel, and you know it.
I'll let
popular
you continue because
but again, it plays to my point of it just being excitement. You could say the first wrestler that you saw do a match made you feel excitement. It's Jake the Snake Roberts, and then Jake the Snake Roberts makes you feel something again. I got out of wrestling, but damn it if he didn't do it again with his documentary about his personal life struggles and all that kind of stuff. It was a real redemption story there, and that friggin' get the waterworks flowing as well, more than any of this other superfluous stuff. So,
hey, Chris, I think that both their answers are pretty good. However, I haven't given wrestling any thought since I don't even know when. But your question got me going and thinking how, and again, when you think about the need to manipulate a culture and a youth as they grow through, and you wonder how much the American government, the American Republican government at the time, have influence on the WWF culture and the stories that were told. And as you developed, your 80s culture through the Cold War and having to beat the Soviets down to let's go on to shift over to Iraq, Iran in the 90s and certainly into the 2000s, and playing that game and just co-opting this amazing this group of youth that can absolutely support this and will go to war and sign up because they hate them so badly. And I think that these guys really did, particularly Iron Sheik, feed into that hate culture that they developed.
So
I doubt it was because of the Iron Sheik that anybody.
No. I think they had a part, is what I said. But unlike your guys were very entertaining versus the guy I chose was.
I was talking about genuine feelings. I was talking about genuine feelings.
I am too.
People had a general feeling, but I don't think the Iron Sheik was necessarily the person in control of that narrative.
Wasn't big enough. Not popular enough.
Well, he was big. Iron Sheik was huge.
One WrestleMania.
Guys, I remember
the problem was that he wasn't huge due to his own making, i.e., performance in the ring or in terms of his promo work.
What he did, though,
right?
He built up other American humors, i.e., Hulk Hogan at the time.
I think the fever pitch for the Iron Sheik was when a Sergeant Slaughter turned and was used as a mouthpiece with the Iron Sheik. So, if it was Slaughter,
but
yes,
again,
but not
you're taking the base guy who developed Hulk Hogan, developed the Sergeant Slaughter, developed even Nikolai Volkov. You have these guys that created a culture of hate and anger towards someone else out of America. Versus
one more point,
your guys who were very entertaining. And I remember Jake the Snake. And certainly Macho Man. I love that guy, but not for the same reasons, and certainly not that he developed these general anger.
I'll let Davan respond, and then I'll respond afterwards.
I just wanted to say that the strength of my argument isn't so much diminishing your guys's; it's the strength of the choice I've made. So it's legitimate feelings other than just excitement or propaganda. Because as fake as wrestling is, and unless even as a kid you know it in the back of your mind, even when you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Snakes biting you is still real, and that snake was really clamping onto Macho Man's arm in Cobra, and because he pissed Jake off backstage and everything, but he still had that snake bite people, and other wrestlers were legit terrified as well of those snakes, including Andre the Giant. So it's just the fear, and then later with the documentary, it's just legit feelings.
So let me just talk about Macho Man because I think that people are just thinking that he only provided excitement. This is a man that had a very storied career, very lengthy career, where he wasn't
Yeah,
just
he
a
sold
good
Slim
guy.
Jims.
He wasn't
Slim
just
Jim
a good
salesman.
guy, right? He was
Yeah, but
also
you
a
know what?
bad guy. He was also a bad guy, right?
He was a bad
playing
guy, and his
characters in
treatment.
wrestling. Like,
There's a treatment of Elizabeth, for instance, I think was very negative, and again, really developed a bad
Taste in your mouth,
taste in my mouth. Certainly, looking back on
so
how
that you felt really terrible
I
about that
agree.
whole situation.
I think
So
he's a good choice, Jaemeel, just not as strong as mine.
you felt
I think-
elation. People felt elation when him and Elizabeth got married after all those time, quote unquote, kayfabe married. Or when he fought Jake the Snake when he was retired as a broadcaster, and Jake kept poking at him, and then he lost all control and practically gave up his career so that he can, as a broadcaster, to go against Jake the Snake and finally get him. Or Ric
that was the
Flair,
strength of Jake's villain.
right? Ric Flair, where he fought Ric Flair.
That's just
and
wrestling storylines. My distinguished
is
opponent
wrestling
is
storylines,
talking
but
about
people-
wrestling
people
storylines.
care about
I'm
these
talking about
things.
legit
This-
things that this person did.
It
that
doesn't
made
matter
you
if
feel
they're legit
things.
or not. This is
Answering the
wrestling, man. wrestling.
Well,
Yes, but
wrestling
wrestling
is
that's
is
not
not
what the
legit.
question is. The question is
It
who was
doesn't
the
matter.
most-
All right. I'm gonna stop here because it's going to devolve into if wrestling's fake or not, and we all know that wrestling is predetermined, not fake. Okay,
Exactly.
there's a difference.
Potato.
Well, people still get hurt. These are excellent choices. We got the Iron Sheik from Adam with the very politically driven hate feeling. We've got Jake the Snake Roberts with the feeling of fear from Davan. And we've got Macho Meme Randy Savage from Jaemeel. So at least
Don't forget the documentary feelings as well.
Yes.
The redemption.
I didn't
The
get to say all
documentary
my
feelings
points before Davan and Adam just ganged up on me because they don't like
It happens.
wrestling, but,
That's what you guys did to me in round one.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Again, it was about what made you feel. Adam, you made excellent points about the Iron Sheik and just the general political driven time. And the Iron Sheik made a lot of people hate him, so that is a solid feeling, but it's not something that's continued. Davan made good points about the Jake the Snake and his documentaries, and to this day, he's still making you feel. But honestly, Davan, I was hoping you might speak more about some of his very riveting interviews and just backstage talks, because he is.
I didn't want to get into wrestling storylines.
Man.
That's what my
That's the thing, though. The big part of feeling with wrestling is the storylines, and I think Jaemeel sort of was hitting it on the head, honestly. And to further that point, Adam even said, "I love Macho Man Randy Savage," and he spoke to another point about Macho Man Randy Savage.
Can I just say one more? I mean, you already made your decision here. I get it, but one thing that Jaemeel, I'm not sure how old you are, but back in the early 80s,
Gonna be 40.
Okay, you're younger than me. So going to wrestling at Maple Leaf Gardens in the early 80s and seeing people scream and yell at these guys because of you commie and you and the horrible things were said against the Sheik at the time being Muslim. I can't. I think that you give a lot of credit to people that may have not seen through that. Anyhow, that's all.
Okay, that's a fair point. It seems I feel.
You're making
Very valid point, Adam. It's a very valid point. I mean, it is about what they made you feel.
Redemption, fear, feelings. I don't like when the snake bit him and he threw the guy in the coffin because he was like dead from the snake and stuff. I forget who he did that to.
Undertaker.
When did Andre actually?
Undertaker was scarier.
We did it to the Ultimate Warrior, actually.
Oh yeah.
Stand corrected. I didn't talk I didn't talk about like the up, but
I'm gonna have to pick. Oh, boys, I think I think I might have to give this one to Adam for the Iron Sheik. Yeah.
Thank you.
He made a strong point about what they made you
Propagandist.
Propaganda.
And how the Iron Sheik is legitimately one of the kings of making people.
And you know what? I got to say one more thing on this is that I'm angry today that I bought into that as a 10-year-old or 12-year-old kid.
Me too.
You know?
Me too.
I just want to. You gotta.
And the reason
solid pick.
Randy Macho Man Savage, I loved him. He was you know, he made you feel good. He was funny. Everything about him was great. But man, like anger and changing a culture.
People were pissed when he turned on Hulk Hogan.
Yes,
like
steroids, cocaine are a heck of a combination.
Oh, dude, it was insane during that time period, and he could play up that righteous, insane,
You're all
unhinged
heartless
anger.
monsters.
Yes, and then his rap album. Oh, that rap album is
excellent choice. I was leaning towards Macho Man, but I feel again, Jaemeel, you just didn't quite get in the key feeling moments for Macho Man, and you were a little dogpiled on. So I had to give it to Adam.
That's how it goes, though. That's Trivial Debates.
That's Trivial Debates. Thank you.
All right, next round.
So we're gonna move on to the next round, and just a quick side note: the correct answer was Roddy Piper.
I agree.
Hey, I was going to say,
that is Brown.
When you talked about They Live.
Dude, I could talk about that forever. So let's see. We're going to be moving on to history. Now, this one came up because I spent a bit of time with my parents, and for whatever reason, my mother was playing Hogan's Heroes 24/7 on some channel. So there was just like consistent Hogan's Heroes. So that got me to thinking, Hogan's Heroes, the American sitcom set in Nazi Germany POW camp during World War II. So I wanted to consider what war from any period of history would make for a comparable 70s style sitcom in the style of a Hogan's Heroes. So think Hogan's Heroes, but replace it with a different war. Maybe throw in some characters if you can think of it on the spot. I want to hear your choices. Davan with Baby and Arm, tell me.
Multitasking, extra points. I agree. This is my debate right here. Okay, so I picked The War of 1812, written and directed by Dan Levy, starring Jared Keezo as Isaac Brock. Now, so obviously it's from the Canadian perspective, but it's gonna play off the whole, what all the Canadian stand-up comedians do is the whole American Canadian dynamic. So it'll play off that, but it'll be funny because it's Dan Levy and Jared Keezo. But it'll just play off the quirky politics that still go on today between the U.S. and Canada, and all the historical quirkiness of that relationship as well. And it'll probably be self-deprecating. So though from the Canadian perspective, it's still a question who won that war, depending on your parameters of victory. So that can be a big theme in it as well. Like both sides thinking they're winning, and really everyone's just losing because it's war. I think it'd be fantastic. Call it Hogan's 1812.
Hogan's 1812 from Bilal.
I didn't even hear anything Davan said because I was watching his daughter, who's very cute.
Excellent distraction.
She's very cute. You're very cute, honey. Internet loves you. They're eating it up.
No, that's a great choice, Dan Levy and Jared Keeso in an 1812 Hogan's Heroes style. Loving it. So we're going to move to Jaemeel. Your war of choice, sir, for Hogan's Heroes style.
My choice is the football war. And you might wait, what? What is the football war? It's also known as the 100-Hour War. It took place over the course of a week. It is with El Salvador versus Honduras. And what happened? There's the story behind it, because people don't know about it. Most likely is El Salvador's population was exploding. People migrated to Honduras. Honduras didn't really treat the migrants very well. El Salvador didn't appreciate that. There was civil war and unrest, and then there was a soccer preliminaries where they fought each other, and there was rioting. One in Honduras, one in El Salvador, and then one in Mexico City, where there was a gigantic breakout fight, and then they went to war over the course of a week. I'm getting too much into it.
And that's time. Let's do it time. Hopefully we'll hear more about the dichotomy of how these wars might play on the show sort of basis. But excellent choice. Adam, who are you bringing in to the battlefield?
I'm going back just over 100 years now to World War One. As I like to think that we can, still bring these as relevant in today's culture and people not forget about things. But really, the trench warfare, and I think about how you could easily make a comedy of, the British group sitting in their trenches, never moving anywhere, and the big rats and the mud and the fleas and the just disgusting conditions they had to live in, while the Germans are playing, 100 yards away in the same kind of conditions and playing either conversations or the infamous soccer game of Christmas one year. You could definitely do a lot here with this that would make it pretty funny and unfortunately play to a bunch of stereotypes that when you talk about Hogan's Heroes, that's just an awful show when you look about the how it portrays the Germans versus the Americans and British. But still, I think even today, very poignant and touching on the futility of war, particularly in that tragedy of fighting for hundreds of feet every day.
All right, that is a solid choice of the war.
Man, I just want to point out that this is probably one of my favorite trivial debates. Is this awesome? Just great. Just overall.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so so I was gonna jump it back to Davan, but he's up there. He is. He's jumping back to the seat. So we'll just put this. Yeah, multitasking. So Davan, since you are multitasking, we'll get your first words in on this.
Well, look, I didn't hear a whole lot of what my opponent said because I was chasing a wild goose. But World War One. Look, there's been enough media done on that war, TV, movies, everything, probably including sitcoms if I sit down and think about it. Maybe not, but maybe not in for our audiences, but perhaps in the European audience. I don't know.
I think more. I mean, the only one I can think of, for us would have been Monty Python, honestly.
But again, and again, like my movie and TV answers, mine's the one you want to see. 1812, Dan Levy, Jared Keezo as Isaac Brock. He can basically play him straight like Wayne on Letterkenny. It wouldn't really matter. That'd be a pretty hilarious Isaac Brock, right? The stiff upper lip and all that. It would be pretty great. And Dan Levy can do that American and Canadian thing at the same time. He's very familiar with both cultures. It wouldn't be so one-sided a perspective, I don't think. It would be a great show. War of 1812. It's quirky. Like a lot of people wouldn't have heard of it, and they'll laugh. And then there's big moments like burning down the White House and then burning down Toronto.
Big dramatic moments. Anyone else?
Toronto.
We're just gonna let Davan take the floor.
And the great finale you'd have with the Battle of Queens.
I won them over, Chris. I run them over there.
I was just waiting for something to really grab me. Like outside of the cast, I'm not really.
I'm grabbed. I'm in, Davan. I thought it was great. I'd love to see it. I'm a huge War of 1812 fan.
I can't imagine if you're not a soccer fan, you're gonna want to see.
I don't even know what I had to look it up while Jaemeel was talking, and I think it'd be interesting. You made me learn something today, Jaemeel, so I'm happy about that.
I don't think it would have. Well, look, you say how did you say long did you say it lasted? The 100 hours?
100 hours.
Yes, exactly. So it's not even long enough to develop a full thing out of.
Really. You think so?
You want more
that's
material
not
to
the
draw
case.
from.
You haven't heard who my cast
in comparison.
My cast is on opposite sides. You have Javier, not Javier Bardem, Benicio del Toro, right? Javier Bardem is in a supporting role, but not one of the main casts. And Michael Pena, right, is on the opposite side. And then the director / showrunner is Jason Rowland, is going to be it. So you're talking about someone who can definitely stretch out 100-hour war that takes place. It doesn't take place just in a week because you also have the soccer matches, which happened before that, right? So look, you shaking your head. No, did you even hear what I said?
It doesn't matter because you were talking about your cast, and compared to mine, because we're talking about a sitcom here. A sitcom,
yes.
Not friggin' Benicio del Toro or whoever you said. That's not a sitcom cast.
Benicio del Toro,
the most revolutionary sitcom of the last
he comes
like
back
so many
to
years.
comedy
It's Schitt's
from
Creek.
Big Top Pee-wee.
Dan Levy.
It's
Dan Levy
glorious
is
return.
the master of the sitcom.
Hey, Chris, one thing that I said, you mentioned that there's been a lot done on World War One in recent years. There actually has, most recently 1917, which was a very serious.
I just watched that.
Yeah, but at the same time, and really, you got a good feel of what was going on there. But
yeah.
As far as the comedy aspect of it, the sitcom aspect, but when you think about, and you said it, the stiff upper lip of the British that never even went until that, it doesn't matter how many men we lose, just throw them in there because we have to win that 50 feet today. I could.
World War One is too horrible for humor.
Who's your cast?
Like Monty Python, maybe, but yikes!
I don't think it's too humor.
Most stuff in World War One is too horrible.
I would like to hear the cast because for Davin's like. As much as I like Eugene Levy or Dan Levy as a performer, showrunner, I'm not necessarily,
He wrote Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek was amazing.
Yeah.
You like Schitt's Creek?
Really?
Oh my god!
Really?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I
By
think
sitcom
that,
standards, it's easily better than all the other ones.
I think that the performers overcame what was given to them in that show. Honestly,
I agree. I would like to hear.
The performances were cute.
You have a performer list off the top of your head at all?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. But I mean, off the top of my head, I think if you take the 1917 cast of the Brits and just throw them in there and roll them into comedic roles, that you could make it a very funny show. However, looking back at the German list, I mean, I'd take the guy from Quentin Tarantino movies. What's his name? Christopher. Jaemeel, help
Lloyd.
me
Christopher Lloyd. I'm not going to give you any help on this one. I need to survive.
You know the guy I'm talking about from Inglourious Bastards.
I do know. Christopher Lloyd.
Christoph Waltz.
Christopher Waltz, yeah.
Fantastic choice. Jeremy Kemp, if he's still alive, would be amazing. As that stiff upper lip German guy who just never, ever smiles. I think just the absurdity of the war and the trench warfare could be extremely well illustrated with a dark comedy, but also get the point about how almost it could be looked at as comical just because of the stupidness of the whole thing.
No, can I point out that my opponents are trying to write dramatic movies while I'm giving you the power of Schitt's Creek and Letterkenny for an 1812 movie?
Sorry,
Jared
Kelso you did not pick Jared Kelso as the showrunner, so it's not.
No, he's the star.
He's a star.
One thing that the weakness of both of your choices
I love
are.
Beth Cooper. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to the tone of the show that you're providing.
But both of these shows that you guys are proposing here would have to. There's no connection. I mean, other than us here in Ontario or maybe Upper
Connection
Canada.
to what?
To people. I don't know if people are going to jump onto this.
The modern audience isn't connected to World War One.
But they at least know what it is.
They know what it is. They're just
but
like,
that's not the strength of the show.
They're like, wait, I can't.
No,
play
but
this
it's
in
a
Call of
hook.
Duty?
It's a hook.
Nobody knew where Downton Abbey was, but people watched it because it was good. Apparently, I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I agree.
But I like that show.
But I don't think you need that. You build the connection in your show, which is
why the show
strength.
But you have to give it time to develop in that. I mean, listen, huge War of 1812 guy. I'm actually I'm a United Emperor loyalist, believe it or not. It's documented and everything. However, I don't know whether people will resonate with that.
I just don't understand, Adam. I just don't understand the tone of your show, because usually I associate the tone by the showrunner. The showrunner is the one that guides the ship. So I have an understanding of what Davin's show is going to be like, because having Dan Levy as the showrunner, I understand the way that they position their comedy and how it's going to be presented. I have a mind's eye of it.
Okay, so imagine
I don't get yours though, Jaemeel. Yours is just like,
do you know who my showrunner
other
is?
than it's like a quirky war. Like, I don't.
Do you know who my showrunner is?
That,
I'll repeat it again because you didn't hear. Is Jason Rowland.
I don't even know who that is.
We're final minute for final thoughts here. So,
Community, Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Community wasn't very good.
Just hold your tongue.
I mean,
oh my God.
You had John.
That's another one like you accused mine of. That was just strength of performance. The jokes were friggin' terrible.
We're hilarious. Jeez.
Chris, do you need to hear more from any of these guys, or do you have enough?
I think we're good on this. I would like There's some points like David had brought out that you couldn't make a show off 100 hours war. Jaemeel, I would have hoped you had responded with 24 because that was a show based off 24 hours and every episode was an hour. So you could have easily made a 100-hour show.
My retort
Four
to that was the Jason Rowland aspect of being able to stretch a concept long past its original, inception. But that's
all modern shows are already stretched past capacity. You're just adding into that like even worse.
Well, I was just saying
that
that.
Start at Stranger Things season 5.
Thank you for proving what I was just mentioning. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, you came back with a retort about extended time. So I'm going to say, Davan, the fact that your strike against not making a show out of 100 hours, that could be done. That could easily be done.
Boringly so. Not much happens in a single day.
Again, there was a show
playing it
called
like every
24.
hour ends up on screen. It's just going to be a lot of downtime.
There's a show called 24, and it was very, very popular at the time. But that being said, Davan, you did have an excellent cast and a good choice with 1812. I believe there was a show called Spy about the War of 1812 at one point. That went on for a few.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. It was like 2 seasons. It was really tight.
Recently?
I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe.
You need to go back and watch it. I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah. Who did start? I forget. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. And Adam, World War I, trenches, British, all that good stuff. I think there just wasn't maybe enough because again, as Jaemeel had said, the War of World War I, it's sort of vague. There was a lot of open battles. There wasn't very much okay, maybe this war would make for a good scenario of a show. But that being said, if you had mentioned something along the lines of Rowan Atkins's Black Adder, I would have probably fallen in line because it's basically Hogan's Heroes, but for the British at this point. So I think it's going to be between Jaemeel and Davan. I'm honestly, I think I'm going to have to give it to Davan. He had a lot more points between the cast and the style of the show.
I would watch that. I would be so into that show.
I want to
That's
see
true.
that.
You were throwing punches, but I just didn't hear a lot of defense or reason for the football war. So I'm going to give the point to Davan.
So, was it over a game? A team lost and everyone's just like, ah!
No, it wasn't. That's why I brought up the immigration issue that kind of heightened tensions between the two countries. Chris,
I had to briefly read up on it.
What did I submit for history?
So you submitted for history
initially.
For history, you originally submitted the War of
1812. I'll be back in time for I'm going last this time, right?
Yeah, you're going to be going last. It's going to be the wild card. So
good, because the baby's over there. Yet I can smell her. I shall return.
Right. Okay. I think I can smell her from over here. It's my cat. I don't know.
Alrighty.
Boom, wild card, ladies and gentlemen. It is. I had to think of a fun one for this one. Recently, I read a comic called The Incal, and Taika Waititi has recently been greenlit to produce and direct a film adaptation of this classic Alejandro Jodorowsky comic, The Incal. So I want to know from your knowledge, what other classic comic deserves a film adaptation? Now, there's popular choices between MCU and DC and all this stuff, but I'm looking for something real deep cut here. I believe you guys came up with some excellent choices, so let's hear it. Who did we start with last time? Was that Adam?
I think it's my turn.
Jameel's time. Yeah.
So we'll go with Jaemeel this time, yeah.
Okay. Mine is a comic book that is near and dear to my heart and perfectly situated in today's day because today is the Pride Parade. And my choice is Strangers in Paradise, about 2 high school friends who reunite after many years, and both of them find themselves broken individuals. And through the strength of friendship, they're able to overcome the mob, self-doubt, body issues, societal's view on homosexuality, masculinity, toxic masculinity, as well as sex work as well. And it also has a spy thriller interwoven as well, wrapped up into this delicious story that features poetry and music intertwined to tell a all-encompassing story that lasts.
Oof. Just filling it up the time. Wonderful choice, Strangers in Paradise from Jaemeel. Adam, what is your secret wild card?
I'm sticking with the history theme today, and I don't know. I latched onto again a World War II hero in comic books called Sergeant Rock. As a kid, I loved reading these stories in the comics, and got a really good idea of what the portrayal and the propaganda of what the U.S. did in these wars and how they do it. But I think it would be a very cool reinvention or rewrite of what happened during that war, using Sergeant Rock as the player. And you could pick any major star that is in a war type movie. And I was going to spin it in my mind to a British way, using Jason Statham playing Sergeant Rock as Sergeant Rock and leading a platoon. Carl Urban would be another great one. But thank you. But
he just played Sergeant Rock 2 years ago in a short.
See, all these things that I think are great ideas are being used. This is fantastic. So, thank you, Dave.
I'm in the fact checker role here. So
thanks, Dave.
What did I miss?
Dave's giving help to people. It's unfair.
He's giving help, but also knocking me off the top. Okay, moving on to Davan. Go ahead.
Davin, your choice for wild card. But for Jaemeel, we've got Strangers in Paradise, two friends overcoming societal views from toxic masculinity to homosexuality, all that good stuff. And then we got Sergeant Rock from Adam.
Sergeant Rock. Well, no one needs to see that. Actually, I think they're doing it. Or no, maybe I just saw a weird meme on that.
No,
anyway,
they did do Sergeant Rock as a short.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. One sec.
Should I start his time?
All right.
I'm back. You're so negative today.
Who, me?
No, you go ahead.
Oh. Anyway, I chose, and now prepare to cry here, fellas. I'm gonna paint you a friggin' picture. So, I'm choosing Mouse. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Mouse, but it's true stories of Art Spiegelman interviewing his father, essentially, and getting his tales from World War I and being persecuted as a Jew. And I would have this starring as the voice of the father character and directed by Mel Brooks. And this would be Mel Brooks' swan song. Because he's getting up there. But a guy who's a Jewish gentleman himself. And he chance to do something serious, because quite frankly, when it comes down to it, I find the most effective drama is often done by comedians. They understand things a little differently as far as emotions go than other actors, I find. Like, you can look at, Jim Carrey's dramatic roles tend to resonate better than his comedic ones. And anyway, lots of examples. But also, it would correct the wrong of the only Art Spiegelman property to be made into a movie is Garbage Pail Kids. Okay, he's also the artist behind Garbage Pail Kids, and they made a movie out of that.
That movie's awesome.
Instead of Mouse. Like, let's just create a better world here, people.
All right, coming in with the deep cuts to save Art Spiegelman's career, or at least in the film world.
Let's not downplay the awesomeness of Garbage Pail Kids. Okay, that movie, I love that movie.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, that was not a good movie. It's terrible.
It's an awesome, terrible movie.
But Mouse is spelled M-A-U-S. M-A-U-S. Mouse.
All right, so let's hear some debates on who's going to win this round.
Can we pause? Can you please
Sergeant Rock, we've seen enough army movies.
Spell Davan's book correctly. It's incorrect.
MAUS. Yeah. Jaemeel will
Thank
not
you.
continue until the
It's
thank you.
something totally
Thank you,
different.
Jaemeel. It is makes it very different. Sergeant Rock, look, it's just played out. I think
It's okay.
I'm
It's
sure
already
you
been
could
done.
cast
I'm off the list.
Schwarzenegger and like.
I need to
Oh.
revisit and do some more research before I
Oh,
speak
fair
too
enough.
fast. But
Strangers
I'm
in
interested.
Paradise.
I'm going with Strangers in Paradise because I support this one. I'd like to see this.
Okay,
Well,
so Adam's bowing out of this choice and lending his hat towards Strangers in Paradise,
Great.
or would you
I'm
prefer
going
to
against the
join the
Holocaust.
meal?
Look, I think
an argument
Jameel's
for
choice
Strangers
is a
in
good
Paradise.
one. I think it is a good choice.
I
It's
think
certainly
all of the
modern.
choices were really good.
It
Davin,
would
I
make for a
think-
very modern show.
Yeah, the
Mine
only
would be
issue
something
I have
different.
with yours is I want.
Okay.
I'm going to detail mine, and I just want more insight to how yours is going to play out.
All right.
I think that's what we're going to really be debating. Just give you a second.
No, I can hear you. I got my thing unplugged.
Okay. I guess I'll go first. My
Okay, mute your mic, Davin, because he's gonna loop.
I'm back.
Okay.
There.
Okay. Mine is going to be starring Emily DeRaven as Katina Chuvanovsky, Kachu. Francine's going to be played by Rachel Bloom.
I never know any of the people. I'm so not modern. I never know anything that Jameel's talking about.
Emily DeRaven was in Lost. That's
not a good thing.
She was we're talking about the character, the actors. She played the blonde pregnant lady, if you can remember her.
Didn't watch
Okay.
it.
Rachel Bloom was in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She is a full-figured woman who is both very charismatic, yet she can play a very wide range of roles, including very dramatic to deranged, which would be perfect for Francine. And then we have David, an individual played by Darren Barnett, who is of Japanese American descent. He is an actor on the come up, so he's the one with the least amount of resume there. But it's going to be written by Diablo Cody and also directed by Jason Reitman, reuniting the two reuniting the two. Especially for Diablo Cody, her best work is through the lens of Jason Reitman. So I think that will be able to bring across a very dramatic and brilliant film. Davin, can I hear your...
Yeah, but I would just like to say about
that.
yours, though I think it's fine. It would be a fine thing to adapt.
Fine.
I don't think it's very or so dissimilar from a lot of things that are currently available. There's a lot of... Well, I don't know modern shows, man, but like I know those types of shows are out there, like interpersonal drama shows, coming of age in a world where like people are oppressed, but for different reasons and stuff. There's that's out there, rightfully so, but that's out there. I think it's going to be very different, and it'll really stand out in a time where there isn't an animated movie about the Holocaust.
So yours is animated.
Oh yeah, it would have to be.
Okay, so I've seen a ton of animated movies that have allusions of the Holocaust.
Well, here's something for you. It could be both, because it's just an interview with him and his father. Here's something you could bounce between him and someone like a younger man interviewing Mel Brooks, in live action, and then when he starts to talk, then it. But
it's another movie about the Holocaust, right?
Yeah, but there's how many movies are out there right now about the Holocaust? Schindler's List.
I'll retort your response. Oh well, I don't know pulp culture, so it's out there.
But you do.
That was basically your argument. That was basically your argument to mine.
Well, look.
So unless you can give an example, I don't think it's a valid argument.
I don't know. I don't watch many things.
Makes a point.
It's a solid point. Star Trek Discovery. It's like Star Trek Discovery. There you go. Game, set, match.
Do
you want
to give my last point, or?
Let's get your last point.
I think that stylistically, yours has a very interesting premise, but also mine, because if you ever read Strangers in Paradise, it isn't just a straightforward narrative that goes from point A to point B. It has, step asides, and also the music is already kind of there, as well as the poetry, and kind of woven that in I think is going to be the strong point, because it isn't just a single media presentation. It is a multimedia presentation with the poetry that impacts the characters in the story and how we see it, as well as the music, which is not just musically heard, but also visually seen as well.
My strong point
All
is
right,
Jaemeel.
excellent.
And
that's a solid point.
And the source material, like Kevin said, Mouse is just
Mouse
one of
is
the
brilliant.
greats.
It's
One of the
brilliant.
Yeah, these are excellent picks from you two gentlemen. So we've had to bow out Sergeant Rock because it has been developed. I honestly didn't know that myself, so good catch from producer
Dave.
Dave. Yeah, so we've got Stranger's Paradise and Mouse. These are both excellent choices. Davan, I loved your portrayal of it being a Mel Brooks directed project, sort of like,
And
his
performed.
swan song, if you will, and performed within. That would be a lot of fun, but there wasn't a lot of meat. It's like Mel Brooks, he's the guy. It's going to be great. There's going to be some Jewish comedians. We're going to bring that in.
Live action and animated.
Live action and animated, which would be really cool. But again, Jaemeel came in with Stranger in Paradise and just gave a litany of examples.
I think Jaemeel.
Social Society to this where you don't know where the storyline is going to go. Spy thriller with great cast. I mean, Emile Doreen, I do remember her now, and yeah, honestly, I'm going to give the point to Jaemeel for that.
Three-way tie.
Yeah, we got a tie now.
This is how good this episode is.
It has
Just
been
fantastic.
Good job,
It's
everybody.
We're already.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what the time limit is here, and I honestly didn't realize what the scoreboard was until right now. So yeah,
we are running a bit late. Normally,
Usually it's like an hour show.
So
It's gonna be double.
If we can do like a tiebreaker to decide who moves on to the speed round,
So the tiebreaker is the person with the least best.
Yeah, so you
argument
should
is
ask
the one who's out.
do like a question off the top of your head, Chris, and basically decide which
top
one
of my
of them
head. Okay.
is eliminated and which two
And
move on.
don't have it about wrestling. Just to
Please don't ask.
So no. Okay, so is they gonna have a debate or just their picks, and I gotta?
Yeah, give them a
choose off?
debate, but we'll keep it
All
really
right.
fast as much as possible.
All right. So we'll keep it 3-minute debate. I want to know what is the best game controller, the best video game controller.
Oh, Super Nintendo.
keyboard.
Got Super Nintendo from Davan. We got keyboard from Jaemeel. Adam, what's your choice?
Sorry, guys, I'm bowing out. I can't even talk to that.
So,
Really?
Dude,
nothing?
hey,
You never played an arcade system?
Adam,
Oh
just guess one. Just fight, Adam. Don't lose this way. No, Adam, no.
You played a video game, Adam. I haven't played a video game in 20 years either.
I would go with my N64 because that was the last games I played. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, so we got N64, keyboard, and Super Nintendo.
Can I just say that?
All right, let's get 5-minute debate going between Super Nintendo, N64 controller, and keyboard.
Okay.
Well, I'll go first. Look, the NES controller was already fine, but it was too small and it was square. Super Nintendo fits into your hand perfectly. It was the first to add shoulder buttons, which of course were run with after that. Everything about the Super Nintendo controller is perfect. D-pads are better than analog. Shoulder buttons were perfect and they actually worked. 4 buttons. If you need more than 4 buttons to play your game, to me, it's too complicated. We're counting the 2 shoulders, 6 buttons. But like, if you just need all these buttons and all these things, like that takes me out of the game. I'm not a modern gamer.
Technically, it's.
But we're talking about
technically
controllers.
8 buttons.
It's perfect. And keyboard is like, as someone who's like, maybe if you're like a serious computer gamer, that's fine. But for me, I used to try it in the early days. It's very prohibitive to play a video game on a keyboard. It's very easy to hit a different button than the one you're looking for. Like, friggin' if you have your arrows on one side and then the arrows on the other side, it's just like, yeah, your arrows are A, S, D, and W. Go nuts. Like, if you want it on your left side, you know what I mean? And N64, look, Adam, they were maybe fine for a month and then they broke. So, like, it's N64's controllers do not hold up, and it was a failure in a lot of the things it tried to do.
3 minutes left to discuss. Hit me some with the positive words for keyboards and N64 controllers.
Okay. Adam, do you want to
No,
go?
I'll wait till you guys go because I've got one thing to say. Yeah.
Okay. You got one thing to say that's you're gonna drop it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They came in many colors.
The keyboard has been the standard.
Wasn't it?
Consistent standard in terms of video game playing over the course of a multitude of generations. So even prior to the 80s, the keyboard has been in use. They haven't reinvented the keyboard because
But it's always been bad.
It's always been great, and they haven't.
No, that's why
needed to
people
change
buy
it.
controllers for their computers because keyboards are terrible.
Oh,
Like I said, if you're serious,
when people play
you can
on
write
a computer,
you know,
they use
like
the
that.
keyboard.
Not everyone can
They use the
type like
keyboard.
this, you know what I mean? No,
Right.
it's very prohibitive. Like most people, you can't give a kid a keyboard and be like, "Hey,
Your
play video."
complaint about the arrows being on the wrong side is a moot point because you can change your
Yes, but
whatever
there's,
your
there's
button
no good
is.
options, is what I'm saying.
There
on the
are
keyboard.
good options. You can do
This-
WASD.
this-
You can use the arrow buttons. Yeah.
Hey
you
guys,
can-
let's play Street Fighter.
Okay, guys.
Yes,
I mean,
actually, I can
here's my
play
thing.
Street Fighter.
No,
on a
let's
keyboard,
play
and I
Street
prefer
Fighter.
to.
1 minute. 1 minute. Okay.
I prefer to play Street Fighter on a keyboard. Actually, that is where.
Yeah,
I am
but you
strongest.
do. But that's
Yes,
not
and
going to be
multitude of
general
other
appeal.
people do. If people have the option
Let's
to
let-
play,
No,
Okay,
you're in a
let's say this,
serious
is that-
gamer bubble. I'm not a serious gamer, and I.
Devin,
it's
come on,
very
let's hear from
prohibitive.
Adam.
I am not a serious gamer, clearly either. But I find the keyboards far too confusing. And honestly, Davin, once you get past 6, 6 is manageable. However, I did like the N64 because I could use it. I did like the colors, and I also thought it looked like, for all you Star Trek guys out there, I thought it looked like a starship. So I quite enjoyed all that.
the N64 has over 6 buttons. Actually,
No, I know it
has
did, but I could use it. I could still use it.
has 8 buttons.
Yeah.
8 buttons. So also, just to use Davin's point is, well, if you're in a gamer, a serious gamer, bubble, then of course you'd like a keyboard. Thank you very much. So you're telling me that people who are going to be playing games a lot prefer to use a keyboard?
No, I didn't say that. I said you have to be a serious gamer to use a keyboard. Not that being a serious gamer means you prefer a keyboard. Very different. I still think most serious gamers would still prefer a controller.
No,
That's why they play. That's why they play Xbox. That's why they play PlayStation. They don't friggin' sit in front of. Most gamers have a system.
Type in
they use, not
PC
a
Master
computer.
Race. Type in PC Master Race and tell me.
Okay.
differently.
Okay.
That's very
I've
bubble
made-
stuff. We're talking about general appeal here. Anyway.
I think I've made my choice here. Adam seemingly has disappeared, but that could sort of lead into the fact that you know what, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to drop Adam for the N64. There's a lot of discussion about the positivities of the Super Nintendo and the keyboard. The N64 controller was wonky, although it was probably one of my favorite Nintendo controllers.
It was different. It was exciting at the time, but man, they break easy.
The most modern
Yeah,
joystick.
Limp stick. N64 limp stick.
What's your ruling here, Chris?
So I'm picking who's out at the
You're
point.
picking who's out, or you're picking the 2 that are moving on, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, it's gonna be Adam. We're gonna crop Adam here. So it's Jaemeel and Davan moving on to the final round.
Okay. Great game, Adam. Great game, Adam.
There's a lot. I wanted to pick the N64. There's a lot of features to that. The rumble pack, the joystick, the ability to like jump between, but I just didn't hear that, and I'm gonna have to
But it comes in so many colors.
eliminate Adam. It does come in so many colors, which is an excellent feature as well. So yeah, based off the arguments, Davan and Jaemeel, you guys moving on to the final rounds, which means we are on to a hot debate of fast
Speed
and
round.
random questions.
Speed
So,
round.
That's the word I was looking for.
So the way this works, 30 seconds to whoever says it first, because these are all binary questions, yes or no, or pick like A or B.
This or that.
And then whoever is you get 30 seconds back, 30-second rebuttal, 30-second rebuttal. So total of 2 minutes per contestant. And then Chris, you just got to make your choice at that point.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right.
All right.
So,
So starting
gentlemen,
with-
Pleasure
ready.
to debate you, Adam. Good show.
Yeah,
Good
let's
show.
give a round of applause for Adam. Fantastic work.
Thanks, guys. Fun. I'm hanging around though. I'm gonna watch you guys.
Nice. Can you watch my baby for a minute?
Beamer over.
All right.
So, speed round topic number 1 for movies. Does Top Gun Maverick deserve $800 million? Yes or no?
No.
So I guess that's a no from
30
Davan.
seconds on the clock. Go.
I mean,
30
I haven't
seconds.
seen it, but no, the world doesn't need more Tom Cruise. The world doesn't need more American military propaganda, which for even people who I know who have seen it, they say that's basically what it is. It's enjoyable to watch and exciting, but it's basically just USA, go. So, you know, just does the American military need $800 million more dollars in any form? The answer is no.
Your rebuttal.
Yes, and the reason for that is a good portion of people who I've talked to have enjoyed the film. So if you enjoy the film, then what happened is they paid money, they got entertained, so it was a proper exchange, right? The money for entertainment, and they were entertained. Plus, you have the fact that you have Val Kilmer back in his role that many people thought he would not be back in another movie again, especially after what we learned in Val. Plus, you have a soundtrack that
Your rebuttal.
seem to enjoy.
Well, I have a rebuttal? Oh, okay. Look, Val Kilmer, good on him, man. Like, good on him. But does Top Gun Maverick deserve $800 million? I don't think necessarily it does, because I think it's still too geared towards a certain idea that I don't think needs to be necessarily propagated. You can enjoy a lot of movies. They could have that person you're talking about could have went to another movie that day and still enjoyed it.
Your rebuttal.
To be a movie, sure. $800 million?
$800 million worth of people went to the movie, and looking at all aspects in terms of cinema score and everything, shown that they were entertained. So therefore, in my world, if you do something that people enjoy and people enjoy paying for it, then it's deserved. So I don't know.
I heard it's derivative of the first one. Too derivative.
If they enjoyed it, if they enjoyed it,
that's a solid point from Jaemeel. If 800 million people, or so say numbers, whatever, are gonna go see that movie, then it is deserved. I'm giving the point to Jaemeel for that. Davan, I agree that the military doesn't need much more money for such things, but the movie
just a propaganda wing of the American military. Top Gun.
May I say one thing, guys? Is that I think that you're missing is it's been the big blockbuster since COVID, and it's been just a treat to go back to the theaters with people again and sit with them. That was part of it. I mean, I went to see it. Yeah. I like that more than anything.
People could have went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and
yeah, that would have been a better choice.
Better movie. So
yeah, that's the point I made. Damn it! Don't steal my point.
But you picked no.
All right, so we're going to move on to the TV round. We've got Mandalorian or Strange New Worlds. What has the better use of virtual sets?
Strange New Worlds. I'm making Jaemeel argue for Star Wars, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
All right, well, Davan, you've chosen Strange New Worlds. Let's hear from you first.
Strange New Worlds is glory personified, and not just the amazing writing and acting. It looks so good. Somehow, and I thought this was impossible, mind you. I didn't think they could do a modern, shiny set like Discovery and the J.J. Abrams movies have, and have it look so good and still retro and still enjoyable.
Your rebuttal.
I don't enjoy those sets, but this one just looks so good. And the planets, very good.
Okay.
Being able to invoke the nostalgia from the classic series of Star Wars and New Hope, being on a lot of planets that are derivative and
Give me the point. Give me the point. No, you can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
All right, Davan gets the point by default. Jaemeel bows it.
Jaemeel couldn't get yay out of his mouth, even to save himself. Like, look, they've done another.
Oh god, this is good stuff. Okay, this is gonna be a curveball. We're coming to the music section. Which is the better rock opera band, the Who or the Proto-Men?
Who? Oh, I don't even know who the Proto-Men are. Give the point to Jaemeel.
Oh, did
Um,
Jaemeel
You
get the Who?
legit have nothing to say.
I picked
I've
the
never
Who.
even heard
I
of
picked
them.
the Who.
Never even heard of them.
The Who's Tommy is an amazing, musical landmark that stands heads and shoulders over the Proto Man. I don't even think my opponent can even name a Proto Man album
No.
or song.
No, I cannot. And you know what? I love the Wizard, so the Who?
All right,
Okay.
so the point's gonna go to Jaemeel. I probably should have varied that. I unfortunately am a big Proto Men fan. They're for your education, they're a Mega Man rock opera.
Oh, really?
They,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like
Their entire
Mega Band? Remember Mega Band?
like Mega Man the video game, like the Mega
No,
Man the
Mega
video.
Band. Remember Mega Band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'm honestly gonna check.
Yeah, they
out.
were like a band out of your hometown that played Mega Man songs, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no, I don't remember that. But yeah, anyway, the Proto Men, they played they play an alternate universe of Mega Man rock opera, but I digress. All right, so we're gonna move on to the
Me and Jaemeel giving each other points.
All right, history. Could Terry Fox be considered a tri-athlete?
I think you need to
What?
change the.
Oh,
Oh, wait, what?
what?
It's a different question.
Oh, sorry, I forgot sports. Sorry, I heard. Oh, my bad. Sorry, speedrun sports. Which is the better obstacle or sports competition? Most
American
extreme
Gladiator.
elimination challenge or American Gladiator?
I
Oh
said
no,
American
most extreme
Gladiator.
challenge. Most extreme challenge.
Okay. American
first?
Gladiator.
Jaemeel, you're first.
Yes. American Gladiator 1 had the better theme song because I can't think of the Extreme Elimination Challenge at all. And 2, its set is both very perfect for people to view in a studio audience. It has large, very expansive sets that really get the public at home really interested into it whatsoever. You kind of have the feeling that you could do it, but forget the fact that one, the
Your
people
rebuttal.
playing are athletes and also
Look, Extreme Challenge wins because it's been successful twice. It was successful as Takashi's Kingdom or whatever, Takashi's Castle in Japan.
Yep.
And then again, it's like a comedy version of itself. I mean, it probably was already. But anyway, they dubbed it for the North American audience. But it's insane, man. It's just completely friggin' insane. Like, the American Gladiators is fun for a couple episodes, and then they keep using the same events over and over again.
Your rebuttal.
they
Those
rotate
aren't that
events.
exciting.
They rotate events,
that
and also
exciting.
American Gladiators has also been successful both in America and also in UK, with them each having their own version. Whereas Most Extreme Elimination Challenge was only just redone or shown in different places. They didn't even attempt to make their own.
But it has the broad appeal because for one,
Your
it's
rebuttal.
funny. Like again, American Gladiator gets boring real fast. There's no humor element. There's nothing. You're basically watching a comedy show and a crazier version of American Gladiators at the same
You're watching
time.
a comedy show when you
And-
see someone get hit off of when they
And
hit off
it
of
has
a
the
thing
general
and they-
appeal. Yeah, but that's funny once maybe, and it's not even that funny. They just land on a
It's
trampoline.
funny
You're
all
like,
the
oh,
time.
cool. Like, but
American Gladiators was in Family Matters.
that's true. Like they dance.
All right,
But
so-
like, that's not a point for it.
Solid
That's not a point for it.
arguments. No, that's not a point for it. Solid arguments. I'm gonna say I like the fact that American Gladiators could be viewed in the audience. You get all these different type of reviews, but I also like the point that Davan had brought up that Most Extreme Elimination Challenge is not only successful once but twice, as it is a remake of Takeshi's Castle, so it is a global appeal. I think I'm gonna have to give the points to Davan for this.
A tight match here.
So tight, gentlemen.
All right.
So this next one's about Terry Fox.
Terry Fox. Speed around history. Could Terry Fox be considered a triathlete? Yes or no?
No,
Jaemeel, you said no.
no,
Jaemeel says no. 30
he
seconds.
isn't. He's just a runner.
It's just
just
a runner.
He
Davan?
just runs. I don't know of him doing anything else besides
Here's
running.
why.
He
Who
bike?
put the try in triathlete? Terry. No one tried harder than Terry Fox. And the reason he can also be considered a triathlete is 1, he's a runner. 2, he gets along on land on something artificial like a bike. So like his leg is like a bike. I once did, and he was basically swimming in sweat across this hot nation that he was running across.
Your rebuttal.
He only ran unless you count being a general, mean person to many people in this family and in society being a sport, but that only makes him a dual athlete and not a triathlete, right? Try again, Davan. Try again, Davan. I don't
Let me tell you, Terry Fox has mythical powers. I once did a Terry Fox run across the Confederation Bridge, and my pants ripped off at the knee on one leg. I swear to God, that happened.
So the ghost of Terry Fox ripped off
Terry Fox
leg.
says he was a triathlete. He told me so on the Confederation Bridge.
Try again. One sport,
it was aliens.
Running. That's it. He only did that. Did he bike? Did he swim?
Look, he did a lot of things. He was quite a good athlete before he lost.
All right.
Try again,
well,
Davan.
to be fair,
it's a hard question to take the other side.
I personally would consider him a triathlete because the man has 3 limbs, so that's where it counts for me. Let's say but based off of argument, I'm gonna say that Davan wins the argument because he came in with the heat. He came in with the artificial leg of riding a bike, the swimming in sweat. These are very valid in my opinion. From all I heard from Jaemeel is no, he was just a runner. No, he didn't. He didn't do anything. He was a mean boy. So I honestly I didn't hear enough against as to why he wasn't. He's just a runner. Didn't fit for me.
He was struggling with cancer. That was it.
If you had said that, that would have made it. Being mean to your family, running and struggling with cancer. He was a triathlete. There you go. But we're gonna give the point to Davan because that's outside the realm of that round. So we're coming into the final random question. It's a heated debate. Who would win in an Ultimate Robot Fighting League match? Rosie the Robot or Bender the Robot?
Rosie.
Okay.
Davan with Rosie. You can start first, Davan. We're going to have Jaemeel throw.
It's not the Ultimate Robot Bending League. It's fighting. And Rosie is a fighter. Rosie is based off Rosie the Riveter, who is also a character used to invoke the fighting spirit in women. To go to work when they were otherwise thought that they could not do so in certain places. And
your rebuttal.
More than anything.
This is pretty straightforward and simple. Rosie is based off of the fighting spirit, but Bender don't give anything, any Fs about anyone. And if he wants to win, he will win. And most of the time, if there's money involved, he's going to bend the crap out of anything he has to. And once you're bended, you are incapacitated, and therefore you would lose the match as per the rules of Ultimate Robot Fighting. Once you're incapacitated, you cannot perform. How is Rosie going to incapacitate Bender the Robot?
This is Aussie Rules Ultimate Robot Fighting League. Those aren't even the rules. So, also, by all accounts, George Jetson was an abusive husband. But you know who didn't take no shit from George Jetson? Rosie. If anything, she gave him the gears. In a time when women didn't stand up to men in that fashion, Rosie the Robot most certainly did. She was the one running that household.
So wait, you're comparing
you're
saying that Rosie's biggest challenge was fighting a man whose job was to push a button.
No, just like Rosie the Riveter.
That's all he did.
Her job was to be a fighter. That's
right?
what.
Whereas Bender's
just a drunk.
and crushing.
Bender's gonna be so hammered for the contest. Rosie's just gonna smack him with a robot broom and push him over.
People, he's shown it on episodes repeatedly that he has been a multitude.
He can bend the ground he's lying on unconscious. Like,
look who he's competing against. He's competing against
all right.
Robot character of all time.
All right, I'm gonna put a cap here. These are excellent points. I'm gonna give this one to Jaemeel because Bender is a bending machine. He would incapacitate to Rosie. Honestly, Jaemeel, you were missing a point there. He is a former Robot League fighting champion as well. So
I would watch the sad episode of Futurama.
The fix was in.
So we have another tie. So we need
There's the
another.
fixes in with that Mandalorian Star.
All right,
Oh no.
the only thing I can think about off the top of my head for a tie-breaking speed round is the two figures to my right now, R2-D2 or C3PO.
R2.
So R2 for Davan,
R2-D2
C3PO for Jaemeel.
R2-D2 is the most popular of the two. It's one of the few characters in Star Wars that actually is interesting for any reason, and that's just his communications method, and the fact that this thing that looks like a trash can seems to always be the one playing the long game and knowing what's going on. Like everyone else runs around like C-3PO with the chicken with their heads cut off and just like overwhelmed by like these incredibly inane, predictable Star Wars situations. Yet R2-D2 knows it's a boring Star Wars plot and doesn't stress.
Your rebuttal.
C-3PO is the more interesting and better character. He's the one with the actual lines and the quick-witted responses. He provides a lot of the humor throughout all of the trilogies plural. He is shinier, right? And he has had more character growth throughout all of the movies, right? In comparison to R2, who seems very one note through the entire series as well.
You know as well as I do, C-3PO and nor any other Star Wars character has had any character development. That is a bold-faced lie. I call you out on it right now.
Okay.
Anyway, but that's actually true. I saw one of the new Star Wars movie. He's in it. He's the same character. There's been no growth. But R2-D2, all that stuff is there. It's just you have to look.
What has changed for R2? What has changed for R2?
Nothing. He's a Star Wars character.
C-3PO got a new
for your
arm.
character either.
Red. There you go. I win. Character
No
growth
way.
proven.
They
I
buffed-
win.
Your rebuttal.
They buffed R2-D2 up, and he's a good co-pilot. He actually has function, not just
It
running
doesn't
around.
matter.
Oh no!
C-3PO is a communications thing, and he communicates his distress. He communicates
He's not
one-liner.
communicating
He does his
things
job.
from one person to
R2
another.
R2 gets incapacitated, right? That's what his job does.
R2 was one of the best-selling toys of all time. Not C-3PO,
Congratulations.
R2-D2, and that's
Luke
for reasons.
Skywalker
Kids
also
like that
sold a
character.
lot of toys, and he's useless too. He's a
And let's
useless
be honest, Star Wars is
crybaby.
for children.
So,
Okay.
He's the most meaningful.
Okay.
character growth.
Okay.
Non-existent character growth.
You know what? I didn't really specify R2-D2 or C-3PO in what dichotomy, but we'll just go with
That's
character
true.
growth.
Oh,
Honestly, the winning argument for me here was Jaemeel when he said that C-3PO actually has more character growth than R2-D2, and
That's
he's right.
a lie.
It's not. C-3PO actually has more of a character storyline than R2-D2 does within Star Wars.
How did C-3PO change from the third movie to the newer ones? Name one reason.
Red arm. New arm. He got a new arm.
That doesn't count.
It does count.
Okay, so he's not only has he had different shells, but he's had different owners, which have influenced his there's backstory of like his coding, which has like Sith coding that leads to like this whole like MacGuffin basically in the later movies. It's all. Yeah, he has more story involvement, more dialogue. R2-D2 more or less comes in as like a poignant little punchline.
Yeah, he risks erasing.
And as Jaemeel said, he always gets just diffused at some point or demolished. Jameel's getting the point. Well done, sir. Well done.
Jaemeel had me at shiny.
Yeah. Episode real. Jaemeel Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, where were my multitasking points?
They were put to the wayside. You got all of not one. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track.
I didn't think
that was a great first hosting. Thanks for joining us for this episode.
Extended episode of.
You had some strong competitors here, so it was not easy to pick the winners. I think you did a great job. Congrats to all of our contestants.
Yes.
Kevin Millard thought that a great job, great show all around, and I have
Thanks,
to.
man.
So, Thank you guys for everything today. I know it's been a long one. We went over 2 hours. We usually
I'm
don't
sweating.
do
I'm
that.
sweating.
Yeah, it was a sport. This was a sport
It
of
was a sweaty,
champions.
sweaty episode.
You appear to be wearing a sweatshirt.
Yes, Jason Reitman's Juno.
I've actually got a Protoman shirt on, so you know,
Yeah,
the rep.
which maybe was Davin's downfall, was his lack of Proto-Man knowledge in this episode.
We traded with the Proto-Man in the Star Wars Mandalorian quest.
Yeah, it was an excellent sort of tete-a-tete for those two questions. Not what I was expecting. I was hoping for maybe a jab here or there, but complete bow. It's very surprising.
Congrats to our fan Sam for his high school graduation.
Yeah,
Way to go,
Oh,
Sam.
yeah, congrats, Sam.
That's good.
You're free of the system. Now you must enter the system.
New system where you pay.
New system. Even
what's
more
that?
corrupt.
Yes, that's the band.
Proto-Man. It's on his
Yeah.
phone, so he knows it.
Following it. Yeah, you're gonna love him. Act 2 is a wonderful album, top to bottom. Probably one of my all-time favorites.
You know, you could have let me have the Who since you knew who the Proto-Men were, Jaemeel.
I didn't know who the Proto-Men were, but
Oh,
I knew
okay.
who the Who was, so that's why I immediately jumped on it.
So thank you guys, to everyone. Just want to plug our different shows here. Oh, take me over here. So we on our Live Long and Podcast Network, our Star Trek, 3 times a week. We have different podcasts coming out, including on Enterprise at 8 every Monday night with Adam Woodward and Jody Simpson, Kevin Millard. Sometimes Davan on that one too. So this week we're going to be talking about A Night in Sick Bay, the next episode of Star Trek Enterprise from about 20 years ago. Going through each episode, reviewing it, breaking it all down. On Wednesday we got Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9ish, our rewatch of that series with Jeff Mader and Jaemeel and the Millards and Davan. Check out that one every Wednesday night. We got what's the one we got coming up? It's a simple investigation from season 5 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So check that out Thursday, and then Wednesday, and then on Thursday, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. We're going to be breaking down that next episode coming this Thursday. We just talked about the Elysian Kingdom this past week. We'll be talking on that with we got a different Adam and Jody and Kevin and Davan on that podcast. Check that out. We got 2 episodes left for this season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Plus, Star Trek Radio Theater. We just published our edited version of Darmok, which we recorded back in April. It had Davan and Adam here from today's podcast playing. They were Dathan and Picard in that one. If you haven't listened to the edited version yet, I highly recommend it. Also, check out our other channel. It's called Super Mater Brothers Podcasting with my brother Jeff. We are brothers! And also with Jaemeel. So we haven't done one in a little while, but this past spring we did Big Brother Canada 10. We did Survivor season 42. And coming up in just about a week time, we're going to be doing a cast preview of Big Brother USA season 24. Probably next Sunday, we'll be doing a draft and a cast breakdown of that, as that show is going to be kicking off in July. And as well, check out my son's podcast. Let's talk about fighting games with Eamon Mader under his alias Sam Jerka. He perhaps he wants to know about that Mega.
Nice controller, Jaemeel. Nice controller.
Nice controller. No keyboard there. I see, Jaemeel. And what else? Plus, check out the Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan. And is the cast revealed for Big Brother USA 24? Oh, the cast is revealed.
Sam's on it. Wouldn't that be a
Sam's
twist?
on it. All right. I didn't know it was out already. Because it doesn't start till July next Wednesday. So interesting. Okay. Well, good to know. And then have I missed anything, guys? Oh, Davan's podcast. Check out Davan's podcast, including he's got Locutors of Trek. He's got X-Men, the animated series, X-Rated.
Yeah, X-Rated. We're starting season 3 up on Tuesday. Out of the Past, season 3, episode 1, and then the following week will be our interview with the voice of Rogue.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Soon to be a Comic-Con.
Yeah,
very
former
cool.
Canadian member of Parliament, I believe.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And the Nova
have to
Scotia
talk-
legislature.
We would.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
would
she's
talk
going to
about
have
that.
some thoughts about Roe v. Wade.
What would the X-Men do about Roe v. Wade?
Right.
Yeah,
I actually made that comment to somebody. Like somebody had posted that Wolverine looking at a picture thing, and it's him giving like the finger to the Supreme Court. I was just like, somebody should try to explain it to Rogue instead, not Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, and I think that's all the plugs. So congratulations again to Jaemeel on the win today.
We're all winners. For
Way to go,
after
Davan,
witnessing such a
juggling
great.
parenthood and competing as well.
Where were my points for this face? Look at this face.
10,000 points right there.
Yeah, you got Daddy 10,000 points, even though the game's over already.
And Chris, you got anything you want to plug while you're with us today?
You know what? I just do photo and video stuff. You can find me on Instagram or YouTube under the username WorldMine. You can check out some stuff like that. Give it a thumbs up. Maybe leave a comment. That'd be pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, being a host of this. I'm glad you really enjoyed the questions.
Nice job.
Hopefully we can do it again. Maybe I'll get to join you guys in some Star
You
Trek
should come back
podcasts.
and be a competitor, you know?
Dude, yeah, I would love to be a competitor. I would love to rack my brain over some questions and make jokes. It was a good time. I'm sorry,
All right,
we were a little overboard on time. I apologize for dragging.
No worries,
it.
you're new to this.
quality
So
of
it's
the
all
show.
good. So we're gonna be doing one probably at the end of July. Well, probably on the 24th because I got Jeff's bachelor party coming up.
Let's get Murphy Strange New Worlds on Thursday.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
Yeah, we'll add you
Yeah.
into the Strange New Worlds chat because even though there's 5 of us, there's often only 2 of us showing up. So it's all good. So
Well, you can count me as a guaranteed third at the very least.
all right, let's play out the funk down as we head out. See you next time, everybody.